Ladies and gentlemen, according to a whole lot of social media, it could be nonsense. It could be just pundits or observers who claim to be who claim to know something that isn't going to happen, or just look. A bunch of people are saying that Bernie Sanders is going to drop out. Sources close to Sanders' campaign: Bernie is considering dropping out, suspending his campaign this Wednesday, latest Thursday. Now, that was a statement from a profile close to Kamala Harris's campaign. Then there's one with a Biden campaign profile. I think Bernie is dropping out tomorrow after a bad defeat. He probably doesn't see a path to nomination. We will see when the time comes, Bernie Sanders. But then there's another one from an author saying, a best-selling author, saying that, Bernie Sanders is going to drop out. This is according to sources. It's going to be Wednesday or Thursday. And so I have no clue if this is true, but Hillary Clinton's going to be nominee. This is pretty much working in the most insidious but brilliant manner I could never imagine. See, I predicted what was going to take place. I can't predict everything. I can't tell you everything, okay? My crystal ball is not... I can't see everything, but I can tell you that based on what I've been saying since 2017, Clinton 2020 is a reality, get ready for 8 years of Trump. I stated that in 2017. And Clinton 2020 is a reality. You're looking at people that Bernie Sanders, what's the difference between Bernie Sanders and Amy Klobuchar and Elizabeth Warren and Mayor Pete and Michael Bloomberg? What's the difference? What's the difference? You have Bernie Sanders getting completely obliterated tonight. He has, first of all, the whole thing's rigged. They did cheat him. They did work to prevent him from winning, but his campaign did not resonate with voters. That he had to craft a message to voters in the South. And he did not do that. He did not speak to black voters in the South or create or design a message or policies where he could say, well, this will better your lives. Please vote for me. He didn't do that. Medicare for All is very popular on social media. It is not popular in the real world because nobody knows how it's possibly going, how it's feasible. And Democrats haven't even passed a bill in Congress. Bernie exists to just funnel votes back into the Democratic Party. He is simply there, hidden for time. Hillary to the rescue. Exactly. Hillary Clinton's going to be the nominee, and she did it in the most brilliant, yet insidious, but absolutely genius manner. Clinton didn't have to run, and everyone, like clockwork, just bowed out. And is Bernie going to wait until March 17th, where he loses every single state? Florida, Arizona, Ohio, Illinois, and then March 24th? He loses Georgia. Is he going to do that? I don't think so. Let me tell you something. Adam on 3 and 4, 5, 8. Every Biden verbal and mental makes Hillary's spirit soar. Exactly. Adam on 3 and 4, 5, 8. Thank you. As always, thank you. Exactly. Biden is there as a placeholder, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if you look at what the Democratic Party did, they cheated Bernie Sanders. He did not say that he was cheated. Why? Why didn't he say that? That's the question that you should always ask forever. The question that should be asked forever. Absolutely forever. Is why Bernie Sanders never admitted that he was cheated. Never said that the DNC cheated me. He never stated that. And that's a big question. That's a huge question. You cannot fight the system. You cannot fight the 1%. You can't get Medicare for all. You can't do anything if you don't have any leverage. Bernie Sanders had no political leverage ever because the left, the Rose Twitter people, it's kind of amusing. They enjoy poking fun at me, which I find hilarious. I find it actually very hilarious, but they never understood. The average Bernie supporter this year and in 2016 never understood. Had they all acted like me, the Democrats would never dare cheat Bernie Sanders because it's either Bernie or bust or Trump. It's either Bernie or bust or President Trump. That's how you make sure that Democrats never cheat again. If you withhold your vote, that's leverage. Bernie Sanders never made an issue of Clinton's emails, never made an issue of any of Biden's scandal, whether it's Ukraine, Burisma, anything. Never made an issue. Basically, they treated him in the most vile manner, and Bernie took it. He never fought back. Now, you can't just say, oh, well, he has to ingratiate himself with Democrats. Democrats absolutely despise him. They despise Bernie Sanders more than Trump in many ways. They don't want Medicare for all. They don't want a Green New Deal. They voted against it. They basically voted present in the Senate, and 4 Democrats voted against the Green New Deal. The AFL-CIO is against the Green New Deal, and they spent 4 years. The pundits that Bernie Sanders could not endorse ran his movement into the ground. Everything was retweeted a million times. Oh my goodness, he was so popular, so much snark, so much sarcasm, snark. And then they say, oh, well, whatever. They're all over the place. In 2016, Bernie Sanders had a campaign that resonated with conservatives also, because most Americans, even though it's funny, Democrats don't think so. Most Americans care about bringing soldiers home from never-ending conflict. They wanted somebody to bring Americans home. Hello, Anthony. Hello. They wanted somebody to bring Americans home. And so the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, when you constantly, this is the thing with Bernie Sanders. He never fought. He never fought. He never and I don't know why. I have no clue why. I have no clue why. If you can tell me why, I don't know why. You cannot develop a campaign. You can't run a campaign without saying that you will withhold your vote, your support, if you get cheated, if you are mistreated. And the interesting thing is, it's like, now he's going to drop out, and honestly, when you look at what does he have to gain from running, they're about this close to getting a Bernie dossier. Oh, what? A fire hydrant? Oh my God. They're pretty close. They're pretty close to getting a Bernie dossier up and ready. And what does he have to gain? He cannot win Florida. He can't win Ohio. He can't win Arizona. He can't win Illinois. There are in Arizona. Okay, in Arizona, you're looking at a conservative Democrats there are conservative. It's a red state. Florida, you cannot say good things about Fidel Castro. I don't care if President Obama said the same things. I don't care. You're not President Obama, Bernie. So then Illinois is a political machine. So is Ohio. And now the electability issue, he can't win Michigan. He won Michigan in 2016. He can't win in Michigan. He got decimated on Super Tuesday. And the popular vote in Michigan, Pete Solano! Is Hillary going to eat Sloppy Joe? Exactly, Pete. She will. Well, she won't even have to work hard regarding that. Pete Solano, Hillary Clinton's going to be nominee. And I will have made the biggest political call of all time. And she's just waiting. Once Bernie drops out, then, my ACL. Oh, man. Oh, God, that's at least a couple months. ACL. Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play today. Look at me. Oh, my God. Rodham is batting .245 with 30 errors in 2 games. We got to do it. Like, what? Why would you do that? Michigan primary. Okay. Basically, 220,000 votes. Biden won by 220,000 votes. Biden won by 220,000 votes. How many hundreds of thousands of votes do you think he'll win in Florida or Arizona or Illinois? Illinois is a political machine. Okay? That's a Democratic political machine. He never admitted or publicized the fact that he was cheated. He was just an actor or played a role to funnel progressive votes back into the DNC. Why? How is that so difficult? I'm voting for Trump. They could go ahead and, if they want to, suffer forever because they can't be viewed as Trump supporters, then fine. That's their lives. It's you know what? They can do whatever they want to do. But Bernie Sanders lost by 220,000 votes to somebody who's one fry short of a Happy Meal. Biden stands for nothing. He basically berates and is condescending to all his voters. This morning is an example. You're talking about somebody who calls people fat and just, he doesn't, who knows what he's saying half the time. There's zero appeal. The only reason he's doing so well is because Bernie Sanders is terrifying to Democrats. They do not want Bernie. Dr. Evil 814! Dr. Evil 814, thank you. Thank you. Keep it up. Thank you, Dr. Evil 814. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. Thank you. Hillary Clinton's going to be the nominee. And I told everyone this. What did I say? I said, I don't know how it's going to happen, but some bizarre things are going to take place. Okay, so you have an app in Iowa. Okay. You have an app in Iowa that suddenly doesn't work. Gee, do you think that's possibly weird? Do you maybe think that if, former Clinton campaign officials who started the app perhaps possibly has I wouldn't say that there is something like that. But I'm just saying that, maybe it just it looks very fishy and weird. There's no proof of anything. So, it was just an app that happened not to work. That's just bizarre. Hillary is going to run. She's going to be nominee. She'll run to the convention. Hillary's still there. People say to me all the time, I thought Hillary was running. She's not. Bernie hasn't left yet. I don't know what she's waiting for. Clinton's going to be the nominee. She's going to run to the convention, through the convention doors a week before, a month before, the day of. Who knows? Hillary Clinton will become the nominee. It'll be Clinton 2020. She'll be running a campaign either before the convention or after the convention. She'll be the nominee. They're not going with Biden. They are not going with Biden. They are not going with Biden. They are not going with Biden because Biden doesn't even want to be president himself. You think he's trying? He's not trying at all. This is not somebody who really wants to be president. This is definitely not somebody who wants to be president. I mean, I can go on forever. He did this to himself. They cheated him. It's a combination of things. President Trump is a good president. We have a great economy. There are things taking place beyond his control, which, but we have a great economy. And we have a foreign policy where he just signed a peace deal to bring home Americans. Nobody on the left cares. That's a lot more important than Medicare for All or a Green New Deal. You cannot have perpetual counterinsurgency conflicts. You can't do that. That's completely... You don't want to talk about morality. You don't send men and women away from their families for 20 years and keep them there forever. If it wasn't for Trump, we'd be there forever. It was 20 years and Bernie's not speaking out about it. You think Bernie's making that an issue? No. He's making Medicare for All an issue. The Democrats don't want it. He hasn't sold. This is the thing. It's like, you haven't sold, even if you're right. Even if Bernie is right, he still hasn't convinced people. Spend time convincing people. Spend time saying, okay, here's why it will work. Your taxes will go up, but this is what you get. And then you get on social media. I don't have Twitter, I don't have Facebook, but you get on social media like, oh my God, you won't have to pay for premiums. Well, not everybody has the same premiums, genius. And you're like, oh, because there's a payroll tax. Yeah, so people are paying for it, so it's not free. Then the belief that, the Mercatus study said you'd have to double or triple tax collection. But let's say that's wrong. You have, it'll save 80,000 lives. Then why haven't Democrats passed it? Really? If that's true, why haven't Democrats passed it? So don't say that Democrats are better than President Trump. You'd have a better chance voting for Trump because Democrats will never, ever pass Green New Deal legislation. No. Legislation? No. Resolution. And then when they were forced to pass legislation in the Senate, they voted present. So, Bernie's playing his part. I'll say this I'll say this in the most objective manner possible, okay? Not because when he drops out, it'll be exactly what I've been saying about Bernie Sanders and exactly what I've been saying about the left, and it'll be one step closer to Hillary Clinton. They're not going with Biden. My God almighty, they are not going with Biden, just like, Elizabeth Warren, Mayor Pete, Amy Klobuchar, Michael Bloomberg, and Elizabeth Warren all dropped out within days of Super Tuesday, before and after. It's choreographed. This is a charade. This is not rocket science. It's right in front of you. The app didn't work in Iowa. That wasn't by accident. Okay? It's pretty much happening right in front of you. I said that, all of this, I said I didn't know what kind of bizarre things would take place, but it's a charade and a theatrical performance, and but I'll say this objectively. Democrats are going to... You're looking at a Bernie dossier if he doesn't drop out. And they're ruthless. At this point right now, though, if your life revolves around the Democratic Party, Bernie Sanders, this is if your life revolves around the Democratic Party, okay? In 2016, it was a little different. It was two people. Hillary Clinton's going to is unelectable again. She'll lose to Trump. They'd much rather lose with Clinton than win with Bernie, or lose miserably with Biden. Hillary Clinton gives them a chance to win. This year, Bernie would get decimated. 2016 Bernie, different story. 2016 Bernie had a crossover appeal. Okay, he does not anymore. 2020 Bernie is like a social media creation. So everything that appeals on social media, just a creation. But Clinton was the presumptive nominee. She didn't even get enough delegates to wrap it up before the convention. Bernie Sanders had a very special campaign in 2016, focused on a whole bunch of issues, foreign policy, bringing home Americans. He wanted to break up too big to fail banks. He didn't obsess over one policy. Okay? When people find out about Medicare for All, that you have to actually pay for it through taxes, they're like, nah, we don't want it. The support drops substantially. But again, let's say I'm wrong. It's not even relevant whether I'm right or wrong about Medicare for All. They didn't pass it in the House. They don't want it. That's the thing. They don't want it. So he has, if you look at it objectively, Bernie Sanders has March 17th coming up, 7 days from now. Fabulous! HA, you've called it since 2017. When Madam Secretary steps in, I'm treating you to a beer. Thank you. Here's $5 to you. Cheers to you. Thank you so very much. Fabulous. Thank you. Fabulous. Thank you. Greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated. Thank you. Greatly appreciated. Fabulous. Thank you. Daniel, hello. Jesse, hello. Fabulous, thank you. Greatly appreciated. You look at, this is really, it's kind of sad. I understand. Like, I do understand, I understand why it's very emotional for Bernie Sanders supporters. Like they're not happy tonight, and I get it. I was there a long time ago. Okay, thank God I'm a Trump supporter. He's a very good president, and every single underhanded tactic they used against Trump, they also used against Bernie Sanders. Notice, by the way, that Bernie Sanders never talks about Burisma, never talks about Madam Secretary's servers, top secret intelligence on servers, never talks about anything that might hurt his potential rivals. But all his rivals go in full steam. Why is that? Have you ever wondered? And don't tell me, well, he has to ingratiate himself to the Democratic Party. Well, why? Why? You have all this emotion. You have all of this emotion. All this. I wrote 100 articles in the Hill, the Huffington Post, and Salon, saying that Bernie Sanders was infinitely better than Clinton. And do you know the mentality of the average Bernie voter? You said that Clinton would be indicted. It's like, yeah, you should have probably pushed for that too, or wanted that too. But because you couldn't fathom that taking place, because ultimately most Bernie supporters are Democrats. They don't care about Bernie winning so much. They just want the Democratic Party to win. If Bernie wins, great. Very few people, like the loudest voices on social media are not the average Bernie supporter. The average Bernie supporter is a Democrat. They will vote Democrat. They will not vote for President Trump. They are not the type of person who will say Bernie or bust or vote for President Trump. So that's the thing. I mean, you can't say you're fighting the 1% when you can't even admit that you were cheated by a political party that cheated you. Also, you can't say, they also say, oh, well, H.A. Goodman said Bernie was still going to win it in 2016 when he couldn't win it. It's like, no, July 5th. Up until July 5th, when Comey covered up Madam Secretary's crimes, you cannot have top secret intelligence on servers outside of the United States government. It's just, that's against the law. All right? Bernie should have made an issue about that. But see, the Democratic Party is such a cult that only certain people can go after their adversaries. So Clinton can, Biden can, but if you have Tulsi Gabbard or if you have Bernie or if you have anyone else, they're like, no, you're dividing the party. But it's never dividing the party. I guess their advantage point, he's not even a Democrat. But then the issue was, well, isn't Bernie Sanders what Democrats aspire to be, or isn't he the epitome of what aren't progressives what liberals, like the purest form of liberals? And the answer is no. They're like they might as well create their own political party. Like Democrats do not care about anything, most of the things that progressives care about. Democrats don't want a Green New Deal legislation. They don't want Medicare for all. They're ambivalent about college student loans. They certainly don't want to ban fracking. They certainly don't want to abolish ICE. So tell me what Bernie's movement has accomplished. It's only to funnel votes back into the Democratic Party. That's it. That is it. That is absolutely like the only thing. They just want to funnel votes back into the Democratic Party. That is it. That's the only thing they care about. It's going to be interesting. It will be the biggest news of 2020, or maybe the biggest news of the past year. If Bernie, and I'm not saying that he will, but he has nothing to gain. Look, you have 7 days where you're basically walking slowly to the gallows. What are you going to do? How is Bernie going to win? He can't get close to winning. Now, again, it's kind of funny. People say, oh, you said he was going to win in 2016. Well, yeah, not after July 5th. Anyone who tells you that is wrong. July 5th was the day that James Comey said no reasonable prosecutor. Instead of actually calling out and pointing out that he was running against a person who literally committed crimes. See, the dossier that they started Trump on, there were no crimes there. That was not a crime. And the whole thing was a fantasy anyway of Bill Clinton's. Oh my goodness, I wrote the whole thing. It was so fantastic. I wrote the whole thing for Christopher Steele. They investigated Trump on nonsense just because corrupt intelligence officials just took a dossier that was purchased by Clinton. Instead of simply saying, I cheated, yeah, you know what, my opponent is under criminal investigation by the FBI, you should probably vote for me, I'm the most electable, okay? And you know what Bernie could have done also? He could have said, look, we're gonna try our best for Medicare for all. But if it doesn't work, We're going to find something as close to it as possible. Instead, it was just this, like, it became a euphemism. Then you have people on social media, can I have health care? It's like, yeah, you can. Go and just get a health insurance plan that you can afford, Because, I mean, the same people who are like, this is life or, a serious issue. It's like, well, even if Bernie was elected, which he would not be this year, 2016, completely different campaign. Completely different campaign. He wasn't a social media creation at that point. And the pundits hadn't completely just run his campaign into the ground. But he could have simply said, look, Medicare for All is just one of many things, It's not the only thing I'm standing for. It's one of many things. That's it. And then it was like, well, if you're not voting for Bernie, you're a big problem. But then the issue is, if you notice this time around, it seemed like the establishment was just waiting. Very confident. Just waiting. Item on 458. Biden's one answer for all debate questions should be Sinai or Jack Kennedy. Item on 458. Thank you. Sinai or Jack Kennedy. That's funny. You never had Bernie say, the DNC cheated me, and yeah, you know what? Russia didn't write the DNC emails. Deborah Wasserman Schultz cheated me. Instead, you got Deborah Wasserman. Every time I think of you, I get little, butterflies inside. When I think of you, Deborah, I just can't tell you how much I appreciate all your support. Joe Biden wins Michigan. It's over. I'd say pick it up, Bernie. Bernie Sanders is probably suspending his campaign this week. Help me out. Flew back to Vermont today. Said he'd support the delegate leader. Said he'd support the nominee. Call me naive, but I feel like he's going to pack up. So then another person said that's what someone with a sense of honor would do. But we're talking about Bernie Sanders. He's not going anywhere. The fleecing of the faithful will continue. Got a small favor to ask of you. Do you have $1? Because it's all going to Hillary. Zoloti! Yang just endorsed Biden. Zoloti Telok. Yang just endorsed Biden. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Yang just endorsed Biden Tulsi 2020. I like Tulsi Gabbard. I love Trump. I'm voting Trump. But I like Tulsi Gabbard's foreign policy. I like the fact also that she has a great deal of integrity. Who knows? We'll see. I don't think that if Bernie Sanders packs it up, you're going to see Madam Secretary almost certainly sooner than later. Hillary's going to be the nominee. And when Clinton becomes the nominee, it will be the biggest political call of all time from yours truly. I take enough heat for it, so. You should see, Bye Bye Bernie is trending on Twitter. The venom, the vitriol. The vitriol. The vitriol is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. They just want Bernie to, First of all, the Democrats, there wasn't a youth turnout, and then this thing on social media. I don't have Twitter, I don't have Facebook, but like you could just see what's going on. Just typing in hashtags, you see what people are saying. So then now the thing is, oh, well, you don't care about the youth. Like, yeah, Democrats don't. They just you have the same voices just funneling votes back into the Democratic Party. So it's just funneling of votes back into the Democratic Party. That's it. Look, let me just tell you something. Even for me, I'm a Trump supporter. I used to be the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet. I used to be, according to the Huffington Post, I was the unofficial scribe of Sanders' most hardcore voters, according to the Washington Post. And when you talk, like, my articles, there are Huffington Post articles that had like 700,000 likes, hundreds of thousands of Facebook shares. I didn't write articles for them to go viral. You can't do that. It's impossible. But nobody was nobody was saying those things in 2016. That's why they went viral. Then people became jealous. Like, you're just doing it to get popular. It's like, what? No, that's not. Even if you tried to write something to be popular, it wouldn't work. It just happened to resonate because everyone was saying Bernie had no chance. That was the only time he had a chance. Now everyone was saying, oh yeah, Bernie. I told, and now they're saying, oh, Clinton wouldn't run. Yeah, I called it in 2017. She's very close. Oh my God, is she getting the ultimate revenge? Oh my God, I give it up. I give it up to Clinton. I really do. I give it up to Clinton. I really do. I really do. To be able to orchestrate all of this, to have a Democratic Party, she literally met with everybody but Bernie. So, I'm not going to get into the pundits that took over Bernie's campaign. Let's just say this. He couldn't even endorse the pundits that took over his campaign message. He would lose Florida. Like, what is he going to keep in the race? He would lose Florida by 400,000, 300,000 votes. Like, what? But I guess what I wanted to say was, it would be, it's still going to be an emotional. It would be an emotional day or moment when Bernie Sanders drops out so early. If he were to drop out today or tomorrow or Thursday. And you got to understand, 2% of Americans tweet, and a tiny percentage are Bernie supporters. 2% of Americans make up 80%. I'm looking at this. Oh my God, the vitriol is unbelievable. I'm scrolling down and looking at all this bye Bernie stuff. Sparky! Election fraud turned up to 11 in the general. Frauds turned up to 11 in the general. Sparky! Yeah, well, I mean, that's something to look out for. Sparky, thank you. Thank you. I think that when Clinton, it's going to be Clinton versus Trump, and the same people who were like, Clinton can't run, they're going to be like, oh my God, she could win. You just watch. You watch. I was thinking about this the other day. Media is going to make it so that Clinton will actually be the front runner. It sounds bizarre. It sounds bizarre, but that's the issue. Yeah, it's interesting. It will be very interesting. Who knows? I mean, you have to also think of it from a purely pragmatic. They're going to blame him. They are going to blame him for dividing the party, and Sparky. Same people count the votes in the primary in general. I'm not 100% sure about that. I'm not 100% sure about that. That's right. Omar, that's right. Yang endorsed Biden. Wow. Creating with English Angel. Hi, how are you? Let's look at this. Andrew Yang. Endorses Biden. They don't care about, the Democrats don't care about, they don't care about Bernie supporters. They just care about him funneling votes into the Democratic Party. It'll be interesting. Not only will Hillary come save Democrats, they're going to beg. They are going to beg. Hillary Clinton is the only chance that Democrats have of defeating Trump. Clinton will not win. Trump will win. But it's the only chance. It could actually be quite close also. So, if you didn't think all of this primary has been an absolute charade. I mean, the primary, where do I get started? From Bill de Blasio running to everyone choreographed leaving to an app that didn't work. The whole thing was a charade. A complete and utter charade. I don't understand, too, why didn't Bernie Sanders say, hey, what's with this app? And then how do you get, here's a question for you. How do you get Mayor Pete calling a victory in Iowa and Bernie not calling a victory? So somebody got a call from the DNC, somebody didn't. Gee, I wonder who. You're only going to, it's kind of, here's also the issue that Bernie Sanders faces from here on out. And from a pragmatic sense, he faces a Democratic Party that will, I'm telling you, they have a dossier waiting for him. So, they have a dossier waiting for him. And that's not like, I'm somewhat joking here. You have a situation, ladies and gentlemen, where is he going to gain any support? No. Are Democrats, the average Democrats, will they be increasingly belligerent towards Bernie Sanders and his supporters? Yes. So, when Bernie drops out, could be tomorrow, could be Thursday, could be after March 17th. But I don't understand why he would go into March 17th. Just in terms of being pragmatic, it would actually benefit Bernie Sanders and whatever is left of his movement to actually drop out. Now, I understand people who don't get my writing or anything that I was 100% accurate. I said Clinton would lose the election. And I said Bernie should have fought. And I said that up until July 5th, he was the front runner, which was true. He was running against somebody who had an FBI criminal investigation. The FBI would never, ever cover up for anyone other than Madam Secretary. And that was also interesting because they didn't care about that either. It's Bernie supporters oh, it's okay. Well, it happened. So you said the indictments were imminent. Like, you should have wanted that. It's like, that's why Bernie can't win, because the people running his, like, the loudest voices of his campaign would never dare say anything bad about Madam Secretary. So then how can you win? How can you win? They'll vote for Clinton. Almost 90% of Bernie Sanders supporters will vote for Clinton. If he waits, then he risks, 80%, 10% more of his supporters not voting. So that's the issue. It'll be interesting. I don't know. Like, a whole lot of very bizarre, not bizarre, but like, there are all these different, you have one writer in particular saying, okay, there are sources, they're not my sources, but there's one writer saying that he has sources that say that Bernie is going to drop out. Then you have people from Kamala Harris and Biden's campaign saying the same thing. Hey, did you think that everyone would drop out right after and before Super Tuesday? So I don't know. It's interesting. Who knows? It is interesting. I'm talking about Clinton with the FBI criminal probe. But with Biden, you have Burisma, you have Rudy Giuliani. We can go on forever. They're not going with Biden, so that's not happening. That will definitely not happen. Biden has zero. I'm the only person on YouTube who's ever worn a No Malarkey shirt. I am the only person on YouTube who has ever worn a No Malarkey shirt. So, look, Bernie, it's interesting. If Bernie drops out tomorrow, or the next day, or before, or sometime before, sometime before March 17th, it takes about 2 weeks to just forget about. It'll take 2 weeks for social media to just kind of almost forget about Bernie Sanders. Not forget, but they'll lick their wounds, they'll regroup, and they'll vote Democrat no matter what. So, just from a pragmatic standpoint. Robbie! Thank you, AJ. Thank you, Robbie France. Thank you. Robbie, thank you. Thank you, Robbie. Thank you. Now, I am trying to, let's see. There were a couple of, I cannot find the actual tweet. Maybe the person deleted it, but it was a pretty ominous, like, okay, and it was from an author. I have sources, I don't know. So Bernie Sanders might go and lose the next 5 primaries. Who knows? Once Bernie leaves, whenever he leaves, it's, oh my God, it's going to be so close to the biggest prediction, the biggest political prediction of all time. Clinton is there waiting, my God. Oh my God, it's the centennial of the 19th Amendment. You think that she's, hey man, hey, you want to take it outside? I'll take it outside. I'll do push-ups. All right. Hey, ding dong. They're not going with Biden. He doesn't even want to run. They would lose miserably. I mean, miserably. They wouldn't even get the popular vote with Biden. They would not get the popular vote. The vote totals are actually down this election compared to this primary compared to 2016. They would not get the popular vote. Clinton outspent Trump 2-1, and she had the most amazing media coverage. And she'll do that again. She might not outspend Trump 2-1, but she'll probably get the popular vote. She'll lose the Electoral College again. But, it could be close. Who knows? Michigan looks like it'll go Democrat. Who knows? But Florida, Ohio... Christopher! Amazing how Dems managed to find a candidate with even less enthusiasm than Hillary. That's the point. Exactly, Christopher. That's actually a great point. Hashtag Biden. That's actually a phenomenal point. That's a brilliant point. Christopher, check it out, everybody. Biden is just good enough to beat Bernie and just horrendous enough for the average Democrat to be petrified going into the election. Absolutely horrified. Could you imagine the debates? What's your economic policy? Yeah. Hey, man. I like a good economy, man. Come on. You want to take us outside? And the moderator's like, what? I just asked you a question. We're in a debate now. You take it outside? I take it outside, huh? Push-ups? You want push-ups? Huh? Want some static? Want some static? You want static? How's it going? Christopher! Thank you. What he said today was like, it resonates with Democrats, but what he said today, it basically prevents him from any contention. He used profanity against a union worker. Doesn't matter it doesn't matter. Union workers are the basis, one of the biggest pillars of the Democratic Party. So it's like, my God Almighty! Just Madam Secretary's campaign. Once Bernie leaves, take a week, not even a week, a couple days, and then just enter, and it'll be all good. And then you'll have Bernie. I wholeheartedly endorse Hillary Clinton. Hey, guess who else does? Max Boot and Bill Kristol. Yeah, my campaign and my message was fantastic. It was a fantastic, amazing message. Once Bernie endorses Hillary, you better believe most of the pundits on Twitter and Facebook and everyone, they'll all be, you know what, look, I'm just going to hold my nose. Okay. It's going to be, and also you don't want the complete meltdown because it'll be complete. You don't want the complete meltdown. You don't want the complete meltdown to take place right before the election. So it's March now. And then they'll say, well, Bernie's divisive, he's tearing the party, and then the Bernie dossier will come out. Oh my God, a fire hydrant. Oh my God. Oh my God, the Michigas. Haha. NPC, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, this is interesting. Yeah, so and they should tell you also, Bernie has become a media creation in 2020. where he can't even endorse the pundits that endorse him. But now you have hashtag bye bye Bernie. And it's just the most venom you've ever seen in your life. The glee, the schadenfreude. Oh my God, my God, my God almighty. The schadenfreude is unbelievable. Have you seen Hillary on Hulu, by the way? Oh my God, it's amazing. It's the best. It's really an amazing documentary. It's an amazing documentary, ladies and gentlemen. Almost makes me want to vote for Hillary Clinton in 2020. You know, I think I will. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to quote me. H.A. Goodman will vote for Hillary Clinton in 2020. Just joking. No, I'm voting for President Trump. And I write in the Federalist why Bernie supporters should vote Trump 2020. So, let's see here. All right. You know what? Let me see if I could find that. Oh my God. There was one. There's one message that I can't find. Again, I read it, and you know what? It's from a writer that said that he had sources saying that Bernie would, not me. I wouldn't tell you the writer's name, but it was like this New York Times best-selling author, and he stated that the sources that he had have never been wrong or whatever, and they said that Bernie's going to concede or drop out. Let's see if I could find this. Basically saying that he's going to drop out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you definitely want to watch this channel when he does drop out, because it's pretty much everything that I've stated. This is unbelievable. This is like very surreal, all of this. Give me your thoughts below. Again, I am not stating categorically that I know that Bernie Sanders is dropping out. This is what a lot of people, pundits, I'll call them pundits, are saying on social media. And these pundits are interestingly associated with rival campaigns or their authors and writers or whatever. Give me your thoughts below. To my super chat, thank you so very much. Greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. And ladies and gentlemen, watch this channel tomorrow. Thank you so very much. Have a great, great evening, everyone. Check out subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel right this second. I have a segment on there that you'll like.